Modes of communication for deaf and hard of hearing students. Hi, I'm Heather Hall, the Kentucky School for the Deaf outreach consultant for the Kentucky Valley Educational Cooperative area. Did you know that there are different modes of communication for deaf and hard of hearing individuals? Modes of communication. What mode of communication is used by deaf and hard of hearing individuals? For most people, they probably would say sign language if you asked them which one was used the most, but it's not quite that cut and dried. There are different types of sign language, and not everyone uses the same system. Beyond that, there are other modes of communication for deaf and hard of hearing individuals. So that's what we're going to explore today. We're going to look at the following modes of communication in a little more detail. Okay? The first one is manual communication methods, the oral method, and total communication. Manual communication, American Sign Language. The deaf culture identifies itself strongly with the American Sign Language, or ASL. American Sign Language is composed of positions, gestures made with the hands, body, and facial expressions to convey abstract concepts as with any spoken language. Being its own language, ASL has distinct grammatical structures, which is quite dissimilar to English. So American Sign Language is not English. And furthermore, it doesn't have a written counterpart, so there's no way to write American Sign Language. Manual communication, Manual English. Manual English uses many of the same ASL signs, but it also maintains the English word order and grammar. These are supposed to help kids' ability to read and write English. There's different systems. Some can be like seeing essential English, signing exact English, and signed English. These are not American Sign Language. It's a totally different method. The last manual communication we're going to talk about is the Rochester Method. This method of communication is not seen very often, but it's still out there. It involves fingerspelling every word in English word order and mouthing the words at the same time. So all the words are fingerspelled and they're all in English word order. Oral method. The oral method of communication utilizes speech reading or lip reading and the maximum use of the child's residual hearing for the development and production of speech. The premise behind this method is that the child who is deaf or hard of hearing will then be able to communicate more effectively with hearing individuals. Most hard of hearing students use this method in this area. The oral method of communication can also use something called cued speech. Cued speech facilitates lip reading by having the speaker simultaneously use hand gestures while speaking to help the listener visually distinguish between similar looking sounds on the speaker's lips. So hand shapes are made near the mouth to cue in the student what is being said. The last area we're going to look at is called total communication. The thought behind total communication, that is a child who is deaf or hard of hearing will use any and all communication methods necessary to help them understand the language acquisition. This system can use signs in English word order, may include speech, finger spelling, manual signs, gestures, speech reading, cued speech, and any other kinds of use of residual hearing. Basically, this mode of communication uses any combination of the communication options listed above to ensure the kid has access to what's going on. I hope this has expanded your understanding of the different modes of communications used by deaf and hard of hearing individuals. If you have any questions, please let me know. Bye.